Kia ora, it's Cam here from Student Job Search. I'm here to walk you through interview preparation. So today we're going to be looking at 4 different areas to ensure that you get the best out of your interview. Starting with research and preparation, what do you bring and what can you ask? Next we'll be looking at interview etiquette, how to best present yourself from start to finish, both in person and virtually. Then we'll be looking at interview questions, what can you expect, and answering those questions with a structure. And lastly, wrapping up the interview. What are some end of interview questions you can ask and how to find out what's next. Firstly, we're going to look at research and preparation. So how do you prepare? The best way to show that the interview is important to you and to show that you're prepared is by bringing in a notebook filled to the brim with potential answers, questions, and comments. Bullet point in your notebook examples of achievements and challenges in both your work experience and personal life. These can be used to ensure that you have the more relevant examples when answering questions. Here's a couple of tips for you. Research the organization and find some relevant questions that you can ask which will show you're interested in what they do. You can use both their website and social media. Some questions you can ask are, I'm really looking forward to seeing how this organization operates. What can I expect the company culture is like? What does a successful day or week look like in this department? What does some professional development look like in this role? And is there anything I can do or look at prior to starting in this position? What will the first few weeks look like in terms of onboarding? Essentially what this does is this helps the employer visualize you in this role. Next, let's take a look at interview etiquette from start to finish. Here's 4 tips. Number 1, whilst no one can tell you how to dress, first impressions are key. So dress to the nines and bring your A game by dressing as professional as possible. Number 2 is punctuality, arriving 5 to 10 minutes before the interview or notifying the interviewer promptly if unforeseen circumstances cause a delay. Number 3 is introduce yourself clearly. Greet the interviewer with a warm smile, a firm handshake with appropriate eye contact. An example is, hey, interviewer's name, I'm Cam, it's great to meet you. And lastly, number 4, respectful communication. Listening attentively with appropriate eye contact, responding thoughtfully using prepared related questions, and using polite language to maintain a professional tone. Now let's look at interview questions. Typically, you'll be asked some scenario-based questions, which are intended to help the employer understand the way you might approach different situations in a workplace. These questions often sound something like, can you tell us about a time when you faced a challenge and how did you overcome it? The best way to answer these types of questions is by following the STAR method as closely as possible. STAR is an acronym for situation, task, action, and result, and is an easy way to remember how best to respond when asked situational and behavioral questions. Situation. First, describe the situation you were in and what the challenge was. So let's say a customer accidentally bumps into you, causing coffee to spill on the floor. Next, explain the task needed to achieve in this situation. So you need to resolve the situation quickly while keeping the customer satisfied and ensuring the area was safe. Action. Describe the actions you took to overcome the challenge. So you offer to help clean up the spill, you place a wet floor sign, and replace their coffee free of charge. And lastly, result. Share results of your actions, including any measurable achievements or lessons learned. So as a result, the customer appreciated the quick response and left happy, while the spill was handled safely without disrupting any service. It's completely acceptable to ask for time before answering a question. Say something like, that's a great question. Would it be okay for me to refer to my notebook before answering? I want to ensure I answer your question the best that I can. Finally, wrapping up the interview. What questions do you ask at the end of an interview? Any questions you didn't get the opportunity to ask during the interview, you will get the opportunity to ask at the end. I'd encourage you to choose 3 questions, with the last question being, do you have any feedback for me? They may say that they'll give this to you later, or they might share the feedback on the spot. Regardless of when, it shows great character to be able to respond well to feedback. Try and end the interview with, Amazing. Thank you all for your time today. It was great getting to meet everyone and learning more about what this position entails. You can re-express your interest in the position. Stand as you give each interviewer a firm handshake with appropriate eye contact, thanking them by name before saying goodbye and exiting. I want to thank you for taking the time to learn more about interview preparation. If you do need more help, please visit us at www.sjs.co.nz. Wishing you the very best of luck with your job search. Take care.